one of the things that I used to say a lot is the Lord was with me while I was alive because He ain't letting all that stuff happen to me. Like they barely hit me. But in recent, like preparing for this, the Lord was like, "That was not me. That was not me." It was more the enemy who knew. Like I would have not continued.
Yeah.
I love my sister. Yet again, I just told y'all that, and I would never humiliate her. I would never beat on her. I would never throw things on her that could ruin her hair or her as a person. I would never do stuff like that. So, like I said, I thought it was the Lord because I'm like, well, He protected me. This is His hedge of protection. But in actuality, the enemy knew that I would not have continued, and then I would have never had this curse to have to break because I would have never continued. But I would have, when I say never continue, I would have been like, I don't care about Delta, period. I'm not even coming to another meeting. Hey. Y'all bear with us. Bear with us as we do this video. But hey, my name is Maya. Um, my name is Maya Holloman. And I'm trying to think of what I want to say.
So I'm going to cut you off and say, and I am Jasmine.
And that works. And that works. And we are just here to be obedient. It started with a act of obedience, and I believe that it is time for us to live out that obedience fully to the world. So yeah, we're going to be talking about our denouncement and renouncement stories, how we got into the organizations that we joined, what it was like in the organization, what it was like after we left, and just what it's like to continue to walk in the obedience after we've left, and what that looks like in our lives. And so you want me to start again? All right. And so what led me into Delta, I don't think it was like one specific thing that led me into Delta. My grandparents are Freemasons and Eastern Stars, and so when I was around 16 years old, um, they had us join the junior Eastern Star. So I say us, it was like me, my sister, and then a few ladies that I went to church with. They had us join the junior Eastern Star. And what I remember from that was, I had to wear all white. That meant a white bra under, white underwear, white stockings, white shoes. We had to wear white from neck down, right? And we ain't really had nothing in our hair. If we did, if there was a ribbon or some of that, it had to be white when we went to these meetings. And I remember like the initiation meeting, they blindfolded us. I remember there being knocking. I remember walking in and to a nice little table setting, which I now know is or was an altar. And it didn't seem like I was doing anything bad. From what I was told, Easter Star and Masons were rooted in Christ. They did things that had to do with Jesus. There were a lot of scriptures that we talked about through meetings, but we did have a ritual book of like when to knock, what to say, all of those things. And again, I didn't see these things as bad because my grandparents did it. My papa is a pastor. My grandma first lady, and when we met up, like it was nice to me because it was like a bunch of 16 to 18-year-olds, sometimes younger than that, who got to meet up. I'm from Blytheville, Arkansas. We went to Pine Bluff, Arkansas, where we got to meet a bunch of different people, and they were young, and we sung gospel songs, and we did things of the Lord. We even did like praise dances. So it seemed okay. And so that led, I did that. We had meetings like once a month, if I'm not mistaken. Um, I don't remember other things that we did outside of meeting and going to lodge meetings in Pine Bluff. And of course, there being separate things for kids. Outside of that, like I don't remember doing anything outwardly for the community. Now, that does not mean that we did not do it. That just means that I don't remember doing
Mm-hmm.
it. We This led to me like my senior year. I ended up doing debutante because one of the ladies who was also in Eastern Star was also AKA, and she just got us to all come do debutante. So um, debutante is ran by AKAs and Blobble. I've heard that multiple organizations do debutante, but the one that was done at Blobble was by the AKAs Alpha Kappa Alpha. If you did not know, but they ran it. Again, I don't remember like they say that that thing, the event is supposed to like show ladies the way, create mentors, mentee type of situations. I don't remember that happening. I remember them telling me that we had to raise money. I remember having to have a specific amount to be, let in. And I remember dancing with my now brother-in-law, but he been my brother for forever. That's who I did my dance with. And then my granddaddy stood in place for my dad. I remember those things. But outside of that, I don't remember them just like making a lasting impression on me. And I know this because when I got to school, I did not like, I was not like, I don't want to be an AKA, but we'll get to like what happened when I got to school there. But like, that is my association with Greek or secret societies before I got to college. Multiple members of my family wanted to be Greek. I thought it was a Sigma for a really long time until I realized that I think that maybe he was online and the line got dropped, so he learned a lot of information, but like was never officially able to come through the chapter. But nobody in my family was a full Greek member, so I was the first person to get that done, or I was the first person to do that in my family. So yeah, I brought Greek life into my family.
Hello again. I am Jasmine. I am a former member of Alpha Kappa Alpha. I became an AKA in. We'll get there later. Um, so I grew up in church. And when I say grew up, went to multiple, all the services on Sunday, was at Bible study, was on the usher team, was on the in the choir, vacation Bible school, was in
Things.
everything. I did no one. I do have a cousin who is in a fraternity, but from my understanding, I was the one that um, introduced the curse into my family. Um, but realize I am also the person that broke it as well. So that is very, very, very important. Um,
Yeah.
oh,
And to Jasmine's point, I did grow up in church too. So all the stuff she was naming, same. We was serving the people when it was time to eat after church. We was on the praise team, the usher board, in the choir, everything that you need to do. And they wanted the kids to do for every church got to do their youth service. At the youth service, we did all the things. Okay, so been in church my entire life. Um, but I realize now that I did not have a relationship with Christ my entire life. I knew God, but I knew of God, but I didn't know God.
mhm.
And I think that's a big. There is a big difference between knowing of someone and actually knowing them. And so we'll just dive in a little bit into our actual joining. So I did not tell y'all that I'm a former member of Delta Sigma Theta and sorority. And when I first got to campus, um, I saw. I wasn't like I'm gonna join the organization when I first got there. However, in my brain, like I said, I didn't want to be no AKA, but I also was like, I don't really want to necessarily be a Delta either because my mama wanted to be a Delta, and me and my mama did not have a great relationship at that time. So I don't want to do nothing that was like my mama, if I'm being 100% honest. So I was just like on campus chilling. But and if I'm being honest, I didn't even want to be at school. I tried to leave school so many times. My freshman year, I did not want to be there. I just wanted to be back at home with my family. Me and my sister, she 2 years younger than me. We had a really close relationship. So not being around her or my best friend Ariana was very, very difficult because that was my people. And so I'm in school, and I came to school with somebody as well. Her name is Shakimi. And we had a good relationship, but it wasn't like Drew. It wasn't like Oriana. But anyways, I started to see Greek life on campus, and at the time, my freshman year, the Deltas weren't doing much on the yard, so I definitely was like, I'm not really trying to do that. I see them, but I don't be seeing them. Well, however, the AKAs on our campus, I saw them doing things. They hosting events, etc., etc. So since I wasn't sure about joining the Greek organization, I did join Union Programming Board, which I am grateful for it because it made me want to stay in school. So I joined Young Programming Board the beginning of my sophomore year, and I was like, wow, I actually like my campus because I'm doing stuff for my campus. And that led me to be like, okay, well, since I'm doing stuff on campus now, maybe I can join the organization.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, I did not want to be a Delta, so I was telling my mama, and she knew somebody who was an AKA. So I had a conversation with this lady, and she seemed cool. Like she seemed like a cool person until I she made a comment about my hair. So those of you who know me know that when I was in the 10th grade, a lady permed my hair. I have scar and alopecia in the middle of my hair, so I don't have hair there. And so she made a comment like, "You're not gonna be able to wear your hair like that." We have a hairdresser that most of us go to. So I was like, okay, like I played nice because I'm not a confrontational person, or I wasn't then. I can do some confrontation a little bit now, but I wasn't then, and so I was just like, I am definitely not about to be no AKA because this
Yeah.
woman ain't even asked me what happened to your hair. She just like gave me a hairdresser. Pookie, give me a dermatologist because that's what I need. But after that, I honestly was cool on being Greek because I was like, if that's what they like, I don't want no part. However, a line came off in the spring of 2022, 2012, my bad.
Are you going real?
Girl, the Arbor here at that point of 2012, and it was a line of like 39 deltas that came off, and a few of them were also a part of the union programming board. And so we got to see them. We had already built a relationship with them prior to them coming
Mm-hmm.
offline. So it was like, oh, she's cool. I like her. I had a few friends that I went to school with that um, we met before school started. We did a STEM program: science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and we all was like, watching those few deltas and what they did. And eventually we told them that we wanted to be a delta. And I expressed my interest to one person. My friend expressed her interest to another person. And she was just like, "All right, I need you to call this person, and we'll like move from there." Well, this led me to pre-pledging, which uh, you're not supposed to do anyway. Okay, you're not supposed to be pledging before you're actually pledging, and so I pre-pledged for a few weeks. It might have been. It was a it was a few weeks. It might have been two. I don't know how long it was, if I'm being honest. I just know it was some time. I know that I was going to um, a girl's house, a lady's house, and it was quite a few of us in there in her living room. Because I mean, we college students. It ain't like we big balling, so it wasn't like it was this big place that 20 girls could fit in.
Mm-hmm.
But we were in a small living room, and I just remember like being mocked Watching people be mocked a lot, watching people be humiliated a lot. But I still was like, these are going to be my sisters.
Mm-hmm.
And so I continued on in it. Because you pre pledged, you were technically with someone that was already a part of the organization who like helped you through the entire process. So we see the flyer go up. It's time for um, what is that thing? Rush. It's time for
Oh yeah.
rush. And I kid y'all not, it was probably like I remember going to the bathroom and somebody's packet was beside me on the floor and it said 240 something. So over 240 women came to this rush. And UAPB not no big
Yeah.
campus.
That's the
So
whole campus.
200 exactly. 240 women is crazy to me. Like that's a lot of women, and like I said, it was more than that. This lady just happened to go to the bathroom and set her packet on the floor beside me, so I seen it. But they walked me through the process. They was like, "You better not." Don't put AR for Arkansas. You need to write out Arkansas because they throwing it out for stuff like that. If you misspell something, they gonna throw your packet out. So they like give you a sense of anxiety because you like a little anxiety, a little fear, because you're like, I don't want to mess up. I can't mess nothing up where they gonna throw my stuff up. And I done pre-pledged already. I done been smushed to somebody's car already to go to some random girl house who I built a relationship with,
Yeah.
but I already done did this. And if I go back a little bit, the girl who I was telling y'all she expressed her interest with, they didn't invite her to pre-pledge. They invited my other friend to pre-pledge. But before we got there, they was like, "Do y'all know each other? Did y'all know that each other wanted to be a Delta?" And we in there lying like, "No, no, we didn't know." And they like, "I know you're lying," and I'm just like, "Okay, well maybe we did know each other." So fast forward, I end up making the line. I get the call. Back then the prices was like $800 some. Glory to God. Yeah, it was like 890 some. Yeah, I heard y'all's costs. I would have never. It was like 890 some dollars, and my dad helped pay for most of it. My mom's friend helped pay for some of it because she also wanted to be a Delta. So my dad is a member of Alpha. So technically, I didn't bring it in my family. When I was thinking about my family, I was thinking about my
Yeah.
mom's side. I forgot my daddy is a whole Alpha. My bad, y'all. My daddy is an alpha. And so he was like, yes. He was like, I wanted you to be an AKA, but it's okay. I still would love to, help you out. So he helped me pay. I remember like receiving phone calls about where we were gonna meet, how we needed to meet up there. I remember lying in my interview because they was like, why do you want to be a Delta? And I didn't have no real reason. So I was like, my mama has a friend. This part, not no lie, right? My mama has a friend who is a Delta, and she just imparted so much love into me, and was just such a great person to me. So I just want to be able to be that for somebody else. Now, first and foremost, I get to be there now for people, and I don't have no Greek organization
Yeah.
attached to my name. It is
Mm-hmm.
because I am a follower and believer of Jesus Christ, and His goodness lies within me. But
Yeah.
I said that because I truly didn't have no other real
Mm-hmm.
reason outside of my friends want to do it, so like let's just do it together. And yeah, I lied on that lady because I seen her a few times, but she ain't teach me much of nothing either. She ain't help me through nothing. And if I'm also being honest, me and my sister relationship was like this. So
Yes.
I is Lord have mercy it is like this. We still like this. And I just did not have a desire to be like I'm doing this for a sister because I got one. I got a
Right.
few actually, but me and Drew we tight and we been tight. So I wasn't doing it for a sister. But anyways, I make it. We get through the thing. Again, here come this all white. So I didn't see no wrong. We got kids, so I didn't see no wrong with wearing a white again because again I did this as a kid in junior Eastern Star. So I'm like, all right, we wearing white. I'm reminiscing because now I'm like, oh, I've done this before.
Yeah.
Um, but it was like a short notice, like go find this. Now, of course, I did this when I was younger, so now I gotta go find. Also that freshman 20 is so real, and I gained it. So I couldn't wear them clothes, no way. So I had to go get the clothes. I was like,
I
okay,
remember.
so I remember them calling. I remember them driving us to the woods. Or we went to somebody's house first. Once we got to the person's house, they was like, all right, y'all need to get in the back seat of this car. One of my former pro fights drove us to some woods. I remember getting out. I know that we did some things that are like, I know that people got eggs through with them. I know that if I'm not mistaken, we passed the hot dog down. I don't. We passed the hot dog down. I know that there was some tapping of some wood being happening, and one of the things that I used to say a lot is the Lord was with me when I was alive because He ain't letting all that stuff happen to me. Like they barely hit me, but in recent like preparing for this, the Lord was like, "That was not me. That was not me. It was more the enemy who knew like I would have not continued.
Yeah.
Um, I love my sister. Yet again, I just told y'all that. And I would never humiliate her. I would never beat on her. I would never throw things on her that could ruin her hair or her as a person. I would never do stuff like that. So like I said, I thought it was the Lord because I'm like, well, He protected me. This is His hedge of protection. But in actuality, the enemy knew that I would not have continued, and then I would have never had this curse to have to break because I would have never continued. But I would have, when I say never continue, I would have been like, I don't care about Delta, period. Don't even, I'm not even coming to another meeting. However, I did the week of homecoming. They say that that's supposed to be, that was our hell night, or our hell week was that week because, and that just means like a bunch of old people come on from, there used to be old people come back to the I'm sorry because that don't make sense to me. They come back to the campus and dog you. They dog you. And I went to the first night of that week and I was like, I'm not doing this. I called them the next day and I was like, yeah, I'm not coming back. Don't call my phone no more. I'm not doing it. Like, sorry if I let somebody down, but I don't want to do that. Like, I don't feel comfortable. This don't feel like, this is not sisterly.
Yeah.
And that was it on it. I don't know what they did after that. I quite frankly don't care. And finished my process, passed my test. We had a little other night that we'll talk about when we get to like the rituals and stuff, but I think that the best part about being a Delta for me was strolling and being on the step team. I truthfully, I did gain a few friendships while I was in while I was a Delta. However, I don't think that, I cannot say that they were true friendships because once I left school, once I left like trying so hard behind Delta, we were no longer communicating with each other. That does not mean that we don't say like, hey, love you nowadays. That don't mean that we don't check on each other, but I would not consider them my friend, maybe an associate. Um yeah, my favorite part about being a Delta was strolling. So I appreciated getting into parties for free. I didn't have to pay for those. I appreciate getting into step shows for free. I didn't have to pay for those. It was just nice. I would like to say that I was like, yeah, I'm excited. I'm Maya the Delta, but I hated that. I absolutely despised somebody calling me Maya the Delta because I was Maya before I was a Delta. And if I'm being 100% honest, me and one of my boyfriends, like I had a lot. My boyfriend had broke up at the time because I was telling him like it's hard to be known as blank's girlfriend. Yeah. Like I have a name. I'm Maya. I don't want to be associated with anybody else. Like I just want to be Maya. And so being called Maya the Delta was annoying. And it also came with like love, adoration from people. That's what I want to say. It was adoration because it was not real love because some of these people, baby, showed me so much adoration. And once they actually became deltas or did not make the line, maybe I ain't hear from them folks no more, which was quite crazy. But I'm gonna let Jasmine go ahead and tell about hers because mine kind of go downhill after that, and so I don't want to like. Yeah, I'm gonna let Jasmine tell her process of becoming an AKA.
So I grew up in a household as the only girl with four siblings, four male siblings, okay? I do have sisters on my dad's side, but my sister and I are not close. So my desire really to wanted to be AKA was one because I wanted the sisterhood, because I didn't have me and my sister again wasn't close, and two because of a friend at the time. We were friends for a long time, and so when it boiled down to it, I realized I idolized her a lot. So it's like I did what she wanted to do. She wanted to be AK. Okay, I want to be AK. But again, I also wanted this sisterhood for myself. But it was kind of like I was following her footsteps. Whatever she wanted to do, I was okay with it. So I can't say that my this full desire was because solely I wanted it, all just me. When I wanted it, but it's because also my friend wanted it too, and I was okay with it. But again, this also comes apart. Like, was I really thinking for myself? No, not all the time. I wanted to be somebody without, I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it. But yeah. So I Maya's price was very, very cheap. Mine was over $1,000, okay? And the thing is how we had to I did not pre-pledge. Um I
Glory.
I was actually told that I was chosen because of a person who wrote my recommendation letter, who was who is an AKA. So I heard that's why I was chosen because of that. So it wasn't because of my grades. And I had a good GPA. So it wasn't because of that. It wasn't because of
Indeed.
my personality. I wasn't really well known. So it was just because, and it makes me wonder, did y'all really go through my application? Was y'all really just looking for who wrote my recommendation letter because this person had already put my name out there that I was coming? So, a lot of times no, not a lot of times, yes, a lot of times, majority of the time, it is who you know, and who's going to have your back when it comes to get into these organizations. Because yes, they will choose you if you do have a good GPA, but I guess they try to balance it out with good GPAs and bad GPAs, or like level it out to where it still looks even and the organization looks good as a whole with those grades.
Yeah.
Um, that's how I think of it. So before, I remember being up all night to do this letter, to do the application, to write my interest letter. I had to get a lot of help with the interest letter because it's just like,
Why am I really
yeah.
interested? I don't know what we was thinking,
So it
but
was hard to explain. And for Rush, I we had to wear all. I think we had to wear all black.
yeah, that's too.
So it was just like you don't. It was very secretive, basically. They didn't want you coming or riding with your friends. But we already know we friends. We know who going. So it's like you had to ride by yourself. So if you did not have a car, you had to wait on your friend. Then they probably was gonna be like, "Why you was late?" I mean, I had to wait on my friend. I didn't really want us to come together. But you couldn't walk in with your friend. They wanted you separate. So that was another thing. It was, I don't know how many girls showed up, but it was a lot of people. Okay. Um, I never wanted to be known as Jasmine the AKA, because they were always known as stuck up. I knew I wasn't stuck up. I didn't want it to be labeled as a stuck up person, because then I knew who I was partially, but I still wanted to be accepted in some way because again, I didn't have sisters. So I just wanted to be around other ladies, if I'm being honest. Um, and so after Rush, I got the call that I was chosen. I don't even remember how long we had to get that money together. Remember, over a
Like
thousand
3
dollars. I
days.
don't even know if it was 3 days. Okay, we'll say 3 days. I don't
It
really
was a
remember.
tiny amount of time.
Yeah,
They
it was
boy.
stressful. So yeah, I had to use my refund because again, I wasn't gonna ask my mom. Well, my family knew that I was going through this, but I didn't want to ask them. Like, okay, let me just use my refund. Don't suggest, baby, because I'm paying for these student loans now. So when I got chose, had to paid the money. The only thing that I remember that was doing the most, I do remember us going out one night. I feel like eggs was thrown at me, and that was it. And I remember that
For
night,
me,
I
but
remember
I
I knew I wasn't willing to go. So I remember go that far. I remember during the time I had to go to Washington D.C. to present a presentation for a school. I remember coming back and people was telling me that someone else is calling themselves the ace. And as much as I did not care to get down, that still hurt me deep down inside because I'm just like, okay, my number was picked when I wasn't there. Let me say that too. So I was notified that I was at the front of the line because I was the shortest. Okay. Um, so it was that like knowing that somebody else was calling themselves the ace. It did hurt me, but I knew why they was getting down. I wasn't with it, but it was just still like a disrespectful thing that was thrown at me because I'm just like these. I came here because I wanted sisters, but to just throw that in my face, it was just like I don't think I can call her my sister, but fake it till you make it. That's what we did. My line, it was 33 of us. Um, you could tell that our line was not unified. It was just really broken up, and it was obvious, very obvious. Um, and it was really at times, hard faking it, but you just had to do what you had to do. And that's what I did. I had to do what I had to do, and I just faked it. Um, when let's see, what else? Oh, so I didn't have a probate, um, because I think we ended up going under investigation. I remember us practicing, but we went under investigation. I think it was for hazing, if I'm not mistaken. So our probate and everything, it was canceled. And I was okay with it because I'm not a person that like dancing. Mind you, I was going to be the one at the front, so my energy was going to have to set for everybody else. I wasn't okay with it, but I was willing to do it. I remember us practicing it. I'm just like, I really don't want to do this. Deep down, this is what I was saying to myself. I really don't want to do this. So I
yeah.
just really have to get it together. I have to do this. And I was really happy that we didn't have a probate, if I'm really honest. Because again, I don't really like all eyes on me, but to know that all eyes was really gonna be on me. And I had a whole bunch of people at the back just depending on me, that was just a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
So I was I was cool with it. I was okay. Um, that's it.
Okay. Two things I wanted to say. Number one, you know what I told myself when they were throwing eggs?
Something about your hair.
Girl, they said eggs good protein for you. So I was like, I ain't finna let them make me bad about no eggs. They was doing eggs and mayonnaise, and both of them is good protein for your hair. So that's what I was telling myself. It's okay. It's a good protein. I'm gonna massage this on
Yeah.
the end, wash it out with some shampoo later on. Number two, I had 40. It was 46 of us on my line, and because there are 46 ladies, there aren't many places that 46 girls can fit in a place. And so they broke our line up. And so there were some people who were chosen to get down, and there were some people who were not chosen. Now, a lot of the people who were not chosen to get down did not like that. They were not chosen. They wanted to be chosen. And I mean, of course, like you want that because, baby, one thing for sure, two things for certain. You go to a HBCU, especially a UAPB, being paper is the worst thing that could ever happen to you. It's like, and and it be the paper people doing the most work for the organization. But I digress in that. But there was a lot of like headbutting in our organization, and it kind of reminded in our on our line. But it was like we all knew that we weren't really messing with our pro fights, but we also really wasn't messing with one another.
Yeah.
And it kind of mimicked the growing, like me growing up and hearing like what happens in this house stays in this house. That's kind of like what it was. You better not go out there and let people know that you beefing with your sister.
Yeah.
Like that's not nobody else's business. Now, if I'm being honest, I'm not sure if you could tell that we didn't like each other. You said no. You could maybe probably.
I mean, I guess for us, it was. I feel like it was way more obvious for us.
I couldn't tell neither.
For your line or for my line?
For your line.
You couldn't tell?
I knew your story, but like outside of that, I didn't necessarily see them like not liking each other.
Okay, so let me correct it. So it was more, our line was more grouped up. You could tell who got down and who was paper baby. I was proud to be that paper, but it was. I had to make sure I said was because it's not current. But it was just like
I am paper. This paper.
You could really see how you were treated, even from the old heads. You could you could see how they treated you. Like if you were paper, they weren't really messing with you. But it was like if you got down, you had like a higher respect from these other people. So, and I guess for me, that's why. No, I guess I know that's why I didn't like to. Um, I enjoyed going to homecoming, but I didn't really care to be like in the group. I didn't care what is it called after.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember
when we get together. I didn't care to go to those. Because I knew it would be intimidating. Because it wasn't really just a sisterhood to me. It was just more intimidating. Like they didn't really just support. They was just coming really just to gossip, honestly. And just to make you here, you do this, you do that. I'm not your do girl. What's wrong with your legs? You walked in here. But again,
you got bothered.
I probably went to 2 of those, maybe. And I think one was the year that
she was still on campus.
Yeah. And I don't remember the other. If I went, I know for sure I didn't stay long. I know for sure I did not stay long. So I can't say that I didn't go. I know for sure. I think it was the first year that I became an AK because I think we was in charge of something.
I feel like I remember that. Like y'all was running around with a chicken. Like a chicken with his head cut off.
So I remember that for sure. And I also wanted to say, I forgot.
It'll come to you. It'll come back to you. While you thinking about it, I do want to name that. Like I did go to those after homecoming things. I think I went to 2. The first one we had to serve, so I know I was there. And like Jasmine said, they did give you like intimidation. Like it was like, don't mess up. Yeah. Like they finna charge you up. You better be ready. And if you don't know what charge you up mean, they finna ask you some information about your organization that you were supposed to either learn while you was getting down or somebody was supposed to let you know. Which kind of bothered me, that like the process of getting down and separating the line bothers me too, because they tell you like your sister should not know something. But then you get down and then they tell you and you better not tell them. Like help me make that make sense. Now, I did go into these events and not want to talk to old heads. Like I don't want to talk to y'all. I could care less. Now, of course, we serving, so I ain't got no choice but to talk to you the first time. Hey, how you doing? Blah 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 blah. What's your number? Da 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 da. Like, yeah. However, I also went into these things. I think that my fear was, if I'm being honest, my fear was if somebody charged me up and I don't know the answer, they're not getting anything. And so my fear was like, I'm gonna have to fight somebody.
Yeah.
And I have never been in a fight. At 32 years old, I have never been in a fight ever, ever. And so my fear was like, bro, I'm gonna have to fight somebody because I'm not giving you nothing that my mama paid for, my granddaddy, my grandma, my mama, my cousin, my sisters. I'm not giving you nothing that somebody else gave me. That does not make sense to me, baby. We already struggling in school. If you want it, and half y'all old and got careers, and you're trying to check me. I used to be like, if they ask me, I'm going to say, enlighten me, because
Yeah.
we had to call them big sister. Enlighten me, big sister, because you're going to enlighten me, because you're not getting nothing.
Mhm.
You're not getting anything that belongs to me. And so my fear came from, bro, I'm going to have to fight somebody.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to fight somebody. And I did not want to have to do that. But I was like, my exact words, because I was not saying like that. I'm not going to say the exact words. But I said, they're going to have to beat my A word. They gonna have to beat it off of me if they want it, because I'm not giving it up.
Yeah.
Again, this is one of them things that I used to say. The Lord is protecting me because nobody ever asked me no question.
Yeah.
Nobody ever was like, Maya, tell me so and so, so and so. Now I watched it happen, and like I watched it piss me off thoroughly. I watched somebody take something that had nothing to do with them to off somebody back because they ain't know the answer to a question. That's not a sister.
Yeah.
Like at all. That's not a sister. And so things like that would happen and make me be like, I don't wanna be surrounded by these people.
Mm-hmm.
So before I left college, I got pregnant. I was told by one of my former line sisters that if I wasn't pregnant, that she was going to fight me. I still to this day do not know why she was so irritated with me, outside of the fact that she said I brainwashed another one of our line sisters. Um, I just don't think that I have that type of power over anyone. I don't even have that type of power over my 10-year-old. I can't brainwash her to do
Yeah.
nothing. She got her own mind. So um, it was something along those lines. Now, I will say that when I had two baby showers, I had one that a lot of my former line sisters came to, and they showed up. I didn't expect them to, but they did. It was my college baby shower, so it was my former line sisters, Jasmine, a few of my. I don't want to say them. They were my friends. I think that we're more of associates right now. I just didn't want. I don't want to come in here and lie about nothing at this point. But like we used to be friends. So a lot of my former friends came, and then I had another one back at home with my family and stuff that came. So I was well taken care of by them, even though apparently a few of them didn't like me. I don't. I would say that I would like to know, but I do not care. So I left the school and I was sad because I hated my intake so bad and I wanted so badly to bring in a line. I wanted so badly to bring in another line and do it right, quote unquote, per my words. I was like, I just want to do it right, but graduated on time. And I had a kid, so I wasn't trying to stay there too much longer anyway. And then my sister, went out to be a Delta and was doing these girls' hair. Like, if they needed it, yeah, I'll do your hair. Yeah, I'll do your hair. And my sister was doing sew-ins at the time. She could braid. Like, she was doing whatever they needed. They were showing up.
She can.
She still does those things. She still does. She don't do sew-ins too often. She will braid that hair on up though, if you live in Little Rock. But she was doing a hair, and then they did not choose her the first time that she went out. Now, along this time, there's also one of my former line sisters who's telling me like they said they not choosing her because of one of her friends. It's another. I mean, the same line sister telling me, "Oh yeah, they saying your baby ugly." And at that point, I'm like, "Oh baby, they don't got nothing to say to me. They don't got to ever talk to me again." A, because I'm playing by my sister, but my baby. What do my baby got to do with you guys? Like, what does my baby have to do with any of y'all? Nobody in there should be like, why is she even being brought up? And I asked that question to my former line sister when she told me that, and she was just like, Some of us were saying she's so pretty. Like, look at her cheeks. And then the other girl, the specific girl, which I had to go to the Lord and truly, truly, like, beg him to let me forgive her, because every time somebody mentioned her name, I would get infuriated because why are you speaking on a child? My child wasn't even 1 year old. 1 years old. Why are you speaking about her? So I was already done with Delta, if I'm being honest, especially Delta 8 of the chapter that I came out of. I was done with them. I didn't want no parts. But if I'm being like, if I want to add this part too. Before I joined Delta, I was not going to no parties. I went to one party, freshman year, homecoming party. I was disgusted, literally disgusted. Me and Jasmine touching each other right now. That's how close we was at that party, and I was disgusted. It's men in here dripping sweat. Y'all, it was disgusting. So I did not want to go to no more parties. I did not want to do. I didn't go until I became a Delta. And then I was at every party. There wasn't not one I was missing. I ain't had to be there till 12 o'clock because I was still getting in free. And I was leaving at 1:30 when the party was over, because all I did for that hour and 30 minutes was stroll. I ain't talk to nobody. I ain't dance on nobody. I don't even like doing that in public. I ain't dancing on nobody. So I wasn't doing that. I just strolled for an hour and 30 minutes. That's it. Been nobody break my line. Been nobody look at me. Been nobody look at me crazy. I'm not even a fighter, guys. But it brought that out of me. Yeah. Like, I had a disdain for AKA so bad, except for Jasmine and another one of our associates. Another one of our associates. Like, I baby couldn't stand on AKA. Don't even look at me. Don't even. Why are you near me? To the point that, like, even when I seen people with pink and green on, they ain't even have to be an organization. Ew, why would you put them two things on together? To the point that I didn't feel comfortable. Like, if I saw an outfit that was cute, if it had pink and green in it together, I wasn't putting it on. Mm-hmm. And so, like, it had made me have disdain to colors, to people that I didn't even know. I don't even know these folks. I just don't like them because they in this organization. And so, yeah, those things happen, which led me to, like I said, I had a disdain for my own organization. I came off of 2013, fall of 2013. By 2015, I could care less about them folks. Outside of that, the only person that necessarily kept me attached to Delta was a really good friend of mine. And it was like, because we had did life together from June, was it June when we started still? June of 2011?
Or July.
June or July, whenever. The summer of 2011, until now, because we had did life together so long, and we did Delta stuff together so long, it was like, it was something Delta, I went with her. And it came to a point that I was just like, I don't want to do this stuff. I'm not a fan of my former line sisters. I don't want to be pretending like I like them, going to places with them when I'm not a fan. I could care less. And so, like, on Founders Day, we might record a stroll of us together, might post it. But when they was like, let's go to this Delta event, I'm like, I'm not going, because I didn't like partying. And I was out of college at that point, so I really wasn't doing it. And at that point, I got a baby. Like, you want me to find a babysitter to go party with people I barely like? That's crazy. That's crazy work. So I did not, after college, look like, when I moved back to Blavel, I did, like, help our Blavel alumni chapter. Somebody paid for my dues because they wanted me to be a part of the organization so bad. They wanted me to be their president. I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm a teacher. I don't have time. You want me to run meetings and create lesson plans? Bookie, I don't have time. I don't have time. And take care of a baby by myself because I'm a single mother. I don't have time. So I did not want to do that. But guess what I was doing? Y'all need a stroll? I got you. Y'all need a step? I got you. Anyways, I moved to Dallas. That's
Me
where
and
my good friend started doing stuff together. But eventually that began to be like, no. I remember one of my former line sisters, one of my former pro fights, and we'll just get into the denouncing part now, but um one of my former pro fights denounced her letters. I want to say it was 2018, but that might not be right, but it was somewhere around that time. And I just remember, like, after she told us, I was like, I don't even care about Delta, so
yeah.
ain't no need for me to do it. I don't care about these folks. I don't care about this organization. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna just put this shirt on, throw up this pyramid, do this stroll, and that's it. But I don't care about the organization as a whole. So I was like, I don't need to do that. But anything you do for the Lord, do it. I remember Jasmine, which I would just let her tell her story after I say this part. But like, I remember Jasmine calling me and being like, this is kind of what I want to do. And I'm like, don't talk to me about it. Don't talk to me about it. I think you need to pray to the Lord, because if the Lord telling you to do something, do what He tell you to do it, and possibly call Tia. And I would think that it would be best for you to call Tia, because this is something that she already done. I know that she could give you the wisdom and the word. So I'll let Jasmine tell her part, because she did the dance before me.
So, I also wanted to point out, like, I remember being with a friend, and we went over another friend. She is a Delta. And my former line sisters had called me outside to the car. It was either two or three of them. And I went. This was very weird, very awkward, because this is not someone that I expect to call me to come and talk to me. And I got in a car and it was just like very humiliating. They was like, "Oh, I heard you told, or you've been telling people that such and such is online," which is this is a person that I am close to. And I knew then that they were trying to attack my character, but it hurt so much because I'm just like, I joined this organization for sisters. And this is like, they are literally calling me. I was happy. I was happy upstairs at the apartment. They got to call me downstairs just to humiliate me, to try to degrade me. And I'm just like, are you serious? Like, I'm not telling no one that this person is online. Me? Why does it matter? What are y'all doing to it? Is the question.
Yeah.
So it was just like, y'all chose me because y'all know, like, this is someone that I really like wanted to be in it, and that I was, helping. And because of that, I'm one of the quiet people. I thought, at least I still think I was one of the quiet people. Like, why did y'all choose me out of all the people?
That's why.
And, and it was the person that I was with. They did not like her either, and she's a Delta, so it's just like, okay, whatever. And that really hurt my feelings so bad, because I'm just like, I can't believe that this is what I signed up for.
Yeah.
Because I wanted sisters that I could, really hang with. Now, don't get me wrong, there were two people that I was really close with, that was on the line. But again, these were, one I was friends with for years, and then the other one who was friendship got kind of like, there was a break in our friendship, and then we were back friends. We both became AKs. So it was just really weird how that happened. And I also want to point out, when I became an AK, I was very jealous. I started drinking more. I started partying more. When I say drinking, like really drinking, drinking and driving. This was my designated driver. She was drinking too. Okay,
We
so
were drunk.
it was just like, this is the person we say, okay, I can drive drunk. Okay, but really, we were playing with so much fire. Thank God, nothing never happened. But it was just like, thinking back, we were really playing it really dangerous. And when I say I was jealous, like, I was really jealous, and I was very envious. Like, when Maya said, and the other friends in the group, whenever the other two that were deltas, whenever they said they had to go something and do with their licenses, baby, I was jealous. I was envious, because why y'all doing stuff with y'all licenses? I'm not. Y'all don't see me doing it. So why y'all just can't choose me over them? I was really like that. I didn't want them to go with them. I wanted them to stay with me, because one, their line is such, again, I couldn't tell that there was, not so much disunity, because it was, they seemed very well put together than my line to me. But yeah, I was very jealous. I didn't want them to go anywhere. And when I say anywhere, I mean nowhere. Stay with me. If they call, I didn't want them talking to them. Like, this was really like very, I was so jealous, because how did I become Greek before y'all, and you got sisters. I got sisters too. You can depend on more of your sisters than I can depend on mine. This don't make sense to me, because I've been your friend longer. You can really dismiss them. Like, I was very, very, very jealous, okay? But when it came to denouncing, I denounced in 2020. I think it was like March, April, right around when COVID hit. I remember being on Bible study, and the question was, what has God told you to do that you have not done? Shout out to Doug. Um, and immediately the Holy Spirit was like, get out, AK. I ain't never heard that until then. And it was like, I couldn't believe it, but I was really trying to, like, I'm not even active. I ain't pay no money. I barely wear Perry. Um, do I really gotta do this? Now, when it was so loud to me, I called Maya instantly, and she was like, I'm not the person that you're supposed to be talking to. She told me to go to Tia, but she also, this is very important, she also supported me. If this is something that God is telling you to do, go ahead and do it. Be obedient. When I denounced, like, put it in the group me with the formal answers, I had got a message from someone that was very close to me, and it was just like a response I did not expect. You can still be Christian, love God, and still be in the Greek organization. And I throw that part in there because had I went to that person first, or even went to that person at all, um, I wouldn't have been so strong enough to let it go.
Yeah.
Now, the reason God told me to leave out was because I didn't immediately. My husband and I would want a baby. It was like, if you want this baby, you got to get out. I was okay with it. Nothing, the rituals, what was broken down, none of that was revealed to me. I knew how bad we wanted a baby, so I was like, let me get out.
Yeah.
If this is connected to why we're not having a baby, I got to get out. So instantly, I'm not gonna say instantly. I don't remember the time frame, but I ended up getting on YouTube, and the first video that popped up was a young lady denouncing AK. I have never um researched denouncing nothing, but all of a sudden this. So that was my, okay. This is really God telling you got to get out. So I went ahead. I did it. I did what I had to do.
Uh,
Wait.
Go ahead.
I want to say I was afraid to do it. That part is important. I was afraid because of what the public will say to me, like the backlash I would get from friends, like the friend that I said, like, that hurt me so bad. Um, because, and that was what I was afraid of most, because of what other people would say. Um, People would not support or would be against it, and although that did happen, when I did make the post on social media, on Facebook, everybody supported it. Okay. Do you think I didn't heard from these people now? They ain't heard from you. They said I will always be their sister.
Baby, that's their favorite line right there.
I have not heard from these people. Now, a couple of people on there, um, I can't even say a couple of people there. Okay. Some people that posted on there, I still um do talk to. I can't even say it was a lot. The only one person is honestly coming to my head. She was at the baby shower. But that was really, like, I we don't talk. So that was a lie.
That was a lie. Nah, honestly, yeah. If I'm okay, so Tia denounced. I'm like, yeah. I haven't heard that from the Lord, and I don't care about these folks, so I don't need to leave. Jasmine told me, and she told me hers was connected to a promise, and the Lord wasn't promising me nothing. So I'm like, yeah, I don't necessarily need to leave. However, I do feel like things started to pop up. So one day I was watching. I can't tell y'all who it was. I can't tell y'all who it was. I just know that she started that video off, and she said, a lot of us read Exodus 20 and 3 and say, if we read, thou shalt not have no other God before me, and we think, well, God is ahead, so I can have this organization under, and God is number one. This organization is under God, so it's okay. She said, but that's because we think of before in that literal tense, but like words have multiple meanings. And so I use the Blue Letter Bible sometimes to see what words meant in the Hebrew or Greek so that I know before I'm just speaking. So this word was in Hebrew, of course, because it's in the Old Testament, it's Exodus 20. And the word before means upon, on the ground of, according to, on account of, on behalf of, concerning, beside, in addition to. That's that one. In addition to, together with, beyond, above, over, by, on, onto, towards, to, against. So that's a lot of different definitions, right? The one that we think about, the only one that we think about is over, right? We think before, we only think over. But the one that stuck out to me was in addition to, because Delta had a Greek goddess attached to it. It was on Minerva, the goddess of fertility, the goddess of wisdom. Specifically, one that we used was the goddess of wisdom. And I was like, well, I say we y'all, but I'm talking about in the past. That is not me no more. But like the organization used was the goddess of wisdom. We even did like poses that mimicked what Minerva would have done. And right now I'm just thinking like, we are made in God's image. Why would I want to pose in the image of another God and say like, and use the excuse of I don't worship it, but like, definition of worship. I meant to have this up, but the definition of worship, I'm gonna pull it up for y'all, is to show reverence or adoration for a deity, honor with religious rites, or feeling or expressing reverence, acts or rites that make up formal expressions, adoration or devotion, honor. Like, we honored our organizations back then. Like, to the point that we didn't like other organizations because of our organization. And then we say we don't worship our organization. It was a form of worship for me to go in there with all white at every meeting. There was a form of worship for me to wear my paraphernalia around campus and want people to adore me. That was worship. Like, we I did worship it and I didn't realize it until later. So I heard it, and I ain't gonna lie to y'all. When I heard her say that, I turned the video off. I don't want to hear nothing else you gotta say because you already done checked me. It still took me some time though, because I'm telling y'all, even though I heard her say this, in my brain I'm like, I I don't care about this organization. I don't pay dues to this organization. I don't I don't care. But then,
Can I stop you right there? I
mm-hmm,
feel like when you say you couldn't finish it, that's conviction. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. Like, whenever you hear these videos, if you can't finish it, that's some conviction. You have to own up to that. But a lot of people in denial, but that is really God convicting your heart. A lot of times,
gently.
some people are like, well, why God ain't spoken to me? He is. You just have to soften your heart. You can't hear him in every area except when it comes to Greek. If you hear him if he answers every prayer, I don't say every prayer, if he answer majority of your prayers that you want, um, or he answered every prayer, even if not in the way that you want him to, because he does answer prayers, just not the way we want them to.
Facts.
Um, there's conviction. Like that is straight up conviction. But when you're so blind and you have this guard up, to where you're like, that ain't got nothing to do with me. The organization has something to do with you. Just own up to the conviction. And if you done made it this far, I'm sure you've been convicted some way somehow. And if not, you can pause it and tell God, God, just talk to my heart.
Yeah.
Let me just hear from you,
Yeah.
just strictly from you, God, and just like own up to that. And uh, yeah, I just want to say that this
No,
conviction.
that's real good. It was indeed conviction that I ignored. Um, and I have talked to a few people who were like, I start hearing it and I ain't really want to hear no more of this. So
Yeah.
I turned it off. That is, like, you spoke that so well, because sometimes I do hear people say, well, why the Lord ain't say that to me? No, you're ignoring, just like you
Mm-hmm.
ignored when the Lord told you to start talking to that boy and you kept talking to him. It's in a similar way. You
Yeah.
saw that red flag and you still was like, but he loves me, but
Mm-hmm.
the organization loves me, but I got my job because of this. And
Mm-hmm.
oh, y'all, the Lord checked me on that too, because I did think I got my first job into education because I was a Delta. And the Lord was like, no, I did that.
Yeah.
I knew the plans that I had for your life. I knew that you
Mm.
were a teacher and you were trying to walk in everything else outside of a teacher. It was me who set you up into that place. It had nothing to do with that woman. Because guess what? In that same year, that lady left the school.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case, if she the reason, then I wouldn't have kept. I started off at that school as a long-term sub. I wasn't even supposed to be a teacher, but they saw something in me. They saw what God saw in me before I saw it in me. So they
Yeah.
like, yeah, we need you to be a teacher. You're really great. You could get these kids together. Let's take your knowledge and you could be a teacher. So then I became a teacher. Yeah, so everything that she said, you do hear conviction. You do know.
Mm-hmm.
And also I appreciate you saying that, because
Sure.
sometimes, like in the beginning, I was like, I was waiting on the Lord to give me a promise.
Mm-hmm.
I was waiting on the Lord to give me a promise or tell me, like, you have to do this to walk into this, which is a promise. Like, I was waiting on the Lord to tell me a promise, which is why I did not obey. And then shout out to Doug yet again, because in our Bible studies, baby, Doug was always talking about the importance of obedience. You need to obey, 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 obey. And so the Lord will bring Exodus 20:3 back to my mind
Yeah.
a lot. Um, And one of my former line sisters, who I knew, baby, she loved some Delta, like Delta down. She loved Delta. She had posted in our group message and was like, she sent us her denouncement letter. And I said, oh, baby, ain't no way that the Lord been giving me this clue, like convicting me slowly
Yeah.
but surely, being patient, being gentle. Ain't no way that I'm finna not do this when I know that this girl loved Delta
Yeah.
down, bro. Like, she loved Delta down. The least that I could do is be obedient to Christ and do the same. Now, I think that she denounced in, like, it may have been 2021 or early 2022, which, whatever it is, the same day I sent I edited her thing. I sent it right on in that group message and I removed myself. I reached out to Tia. I was like, what do I need to do? Like,
Mm.
what are my next steps? She was like, you're gonna have to send a letter and you're going to need to do this renouncement prayer. Now, there's a difference between renouncing and denouncing, and I know you probably heard the both of them, so I'm going to tell you the difference between them. So, denouncing is to openly reject membership and belief. So, like when you see people say, I'm denouncing, I am no longer a
Yeah.
part of this organization, that is denouncing. But when we joined these organizations and went through these rituals and said these chants and did these vows that the Bible tells us not to do,
Mm-hmm.
um, we that is a spiritual attachment. And so renouncing is spiritually breaking all ties and repenting of agreements that you made.
Mm-hmm.
And so Tia sent me two documents to read through, and one of them is called the Freemasonry Curse Breaking Prayer. Like I told y'all already, that my grandparents are Freemason Order Eastern Star, and technically I was also a part of that as well, because I joined, and then my freshman year summer, I went to another meeting that inducted me into the big order of Easter Star. So like I never actually left that as well. So I read through this whole prayer, which is 8 pages, and I remember exactly where I was, and I remember sobbing. I remember being in my daughter's gymnastics and walking out and just like walking and praying. I did some laps around the area and just praying this prayer, asking the Lord to forgive me. And as I read through each of the prayers, I just cried more, like, and like,
Mm-hmm.
Lord, I am so sorry. And I just want to read one of the parts of the prayer, and for the Freemasonry curse breaking thing, and it said, I renounce the ancient pagan teaching and symbolism of the third tracing board used in the ritual. I renounce the spirit of death that blows to the head and acted as ritual murder, the fear of death, false martyrdom, fear of violent gang attack, assault, and rape, and the helplessness of this degree. I renounce falling into the coffin or stretcher involved in the ritual of murder. Do y'all hear that? Like that says ritual of murder. And if you know anything about Freemasons or Order Eastern Stars, they say to be an organization fully into Christ, and but like there are levels to it, okay? And there's a certain level that like at each level there's a certain ritual that goes with whatever level it is. And this is saying that one of the rituals is to reenact a murder. And then we wonder, I'm reading this
Mm.
and sobbing, trying to figure out. I'm like, this is why I'm so afraid of death. Like terrified to die. This is why I'm so afraid that, like, baby, when I tell you scared of a thug, baby, terrified of him. I don't know what you're gonna do. This is why. This is why I'm afraid that maybe assault and rape may be somewhere in my near future. Like I gotta be on guard when I'm around these people. It's because this is a curse that has been passed down from generation to generation in my family because they are practicing in this thing. I mean, like one of the names of a high person in Eastern Star and Masonry is worthy matron, worthy patron. Like who is worthy outside of God? Like none of us. So like why is that the way that I need to speak to this
Yeah.
person? And then another thing that I read through was a renouncement prayer, which I mean, please let me know if y'all need any of these things. I will happily email them to you. But it's a secret society renunciation prayer. And it go through all of the different ones. So it could be from Order Eastern Star to the D9.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who did not go to a HBCU, maybe you went to a PWI or another school where maybe you joined a or organization that is not predominantly African American. It is still not of God, and you
Right.
still need to do the renunciation of these organizations. And as I went through this prayer again, I'm literally sobbing that day. Like this is an hour, because I kid y'all not, I was out there until from the time that I dropped her off to the time that they was getting ready to leave. I'm like, oh dang, it's time for me to go back in, type of situation. I prayed these prayers for over an hour, just like, Lord, forgive me. I repent. I don't want nothing to do with this
Yeah.
organization. Now I wrote my letter, and I sent it to or I tried to take it. No, I tried to take it to them on multiple occasions. Every time I was going to the post office, y'all, the post office was closed. I kid you not. Every time I went to that post office, the post office was closed. And I was like, dang, like, am I not supposed to be turning in this letter? Am I supposed to just be like the renouncing is okay?
Yeah.
And eventually I turned in the letter. I sent it in. I don't know if they got it, but I was like, oh, well, I know that I sent it off. I got it notarized.
Mm.
I got it sent off. I knew that that part was done. I remember taking a picture of it and sending the picture of my letter once I was like after I went and dropped it off, or on my way to drop it off that day. And then because I did not hear anything back from them, the summer of 2023, I went ahead and did the online denouncing, because baby, y'all ain't finna keep me up in no system when I know I turned this letter
Yeah.
in. And so I went ahead and did that, and then they finally sent me something back from that situation. So I officially I renounced in the summer of 2022. I denounced in the December of 2022. And after my obedience is when the Lord started to bring back chants that we said. Like all every time I say it, I be about to cry. But all my love, my peace and happiness, I'm gonna give it to Delta. I can imagine it every time I opened up my mouth and said that the Lord shed a tear. What do you mean, Maya?
Yeah.
What do you mean all your love, your peace, and your happiness, you gonna give it to Delta? And when I sit back and I looked at like women of Delta, a lot of women in Delta do not get married. They are the most independent, big money women that you will
Yeah.
see, but marriage is not in their thing. No matter how much they want to be married, marriage is not in their timeline. I'm telling you, they be wealthy. They have set up their lives. They are successful. They might have children as well, but marriage is not in their thing. And I know that was something that I wanted. And the Lord was like, Maya, you said you gave your love to Delta. I'm like, Lord, forgive me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I think about the mocking of Adam and Eve that we did when we said things like, some said Eve was a Zeta, some says Eve was an AKA, but I don't give a heck about Eve because Delta Sigma Theta is the only way. No, the only way is Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Like, that is the only way. I think about the thing, like, I started to remember those things. And so, if I'm being honest, I was disobedient. I didn't open up not one ritual. I said, Lord, you said leave all of these things or leaving my home as well. So, I got rid of it, threw it away, burnt it, all of that good jazz. I did all of those things because I just had to let it go. I was already disobedient for like a year and a half,
Yeah.
2 years. I was like, goodbye. So, in more recent time, I decided to look up the things. And when I was looking them up, I was like, oh my gosh, I do remember saying this. I'm going to read this one thing in the because the organization is named to be an organization based on Christian principles. When I was reading this as I was becoming a Delta, I didn't see no issue with it. But the name of the meditation is called The Greatest of These, and this is found online. Literally, you type in ritual, it's gonna be on one of the pages. But it's called The Greatest of These. And it's a meditation for Delta, and it literally says a paraphrase of 1 Corinthians 13. And I'm just gonna read the beginning of it, and then I'm gonna also read out of my Bible, 1 Corinthians 13. Oh, you was gonna find it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, girl. It says, though I speak with the tongues of the learned and the profound and have no love, I am a noisy gong and a clanging cymbal. And though I prophesy, know all the Delta laws, ritual traditions, and secrets, and can recite them glibly. If I said it wrong, it's okay. And though I have such absolute devotion to duty that I can do anything my hands undertake and have not love, I am nothing. 1 Corinthians 13:1 says, if I speak human or angelic tongues, but do not have love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have these gifts of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so that I can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. And if I give away all my possessions, and if I give over my body in order to boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. That sound the same. And I remember sitting there and being like, dang, this sounds like something out the Bible.
Yeah.